Champions Cup Rugby underway, folks. Montpellier away to London Irish. I didn't realise it had been this long since London Irish had been in the Champions Cup. But yeah, it's a welcome return for them on a cold night. Seemingly, I saw the ref telling guys to hurry up because it was cold, and he was. I could see him blowing on his fingers at times. It looked like proper winter's day as I sit here in shorts and a t-shirt because it's. The sun's come out here in New Zealand in summer. But anyway, 32 points to 27, Montpellier getting away win. When doing the old Super Brew picks for this one, I had to have a look, Montpellier, because I didn't know. Are you guys taking the competition seriously or not? Looked at the lineup and thought, okay, yeah, Montpellier has come to play. But to be honest, it was a pretty quiet start. The most probably dramatic moment was Bernard Janssen van Rensburg getting his pants pulled down in a tackle to the point where there was a moment, like a high tackle, I think, in that moment, and the producers couldn't show a replay because there was too much bum on display, is what the commentator said. So, yeah, unfortunate for him, but good for his team because they managed to get a penalty to go 3-0 ahead, although a little bit frustrating for Irish as they conceded a penalty pretty much straight from the restart. I mean, Carbonell missed it, but that's just like shake your head stuff. Montpellier did kind of come back into the game, got the next two penalties. Carbonell didn't make many mistakes from that one. One of them was a scrum penalty, which was a little bit of an issue for London Irish in this one. But by the time we get to 25 minutes, the game's really starting to warm up a bit. Paddy Jackson with a really great touch finder. London Irish maul it. They get an initial advantage, then a second advantage, and the second advantage sees Folletta, the big prop, get yellow carded for a bit of cynical play. So can London Irish punish with the extra man? Absolutely they can. It was really pleasing stuff. Juan Martin Gonzalez had a phenomenal year, to be honest. He goes over for the first try. That was good thinking from Ben White, who was pretty sharp in this one to take a quick tap when they had advantage anyway, and Juan Martin Gonzalez is able to power over, so 10 points to 6. Sinti gets one a few minutes later, so it's a quick bang double during the yellow for the London Irish guys. All starts from a Juan Martin Gonzalez line-out steal as well. Ollie Hassel-Collins with a big line break, and then Crevy with the final pass. So 17-6. But speaking of Crevy, it's maybe a turning point in this game when he gets red carded on 33 minutes for a shoulder to the head of Bouthier. And that's an interesting one because I've seen the refs swing one way and then swing another with how they rule these red cards. Like earlier in the year, I want to say the start of the kind of Six Nations Super Rugby time, any incident like this was getting a red card flat out, and we saw so many red cards, it was kind of crazy. And then referees, I noticed towards the latter stage of the year, started doing this thing, well, the tackler was kind of passive. He wasn't driving into him, so we'll mitigate it down. And that was one that you could maybe argue for Crevy, because, I mean, he was flat-footed when he made the tackle because he was kind of a secondary tackler. I think it was one of the locks, Coleman maybe, that made the initial tackle on Bouthier. So he kind of crunched into Crevy, falling as he was being tackled, maybe. I don't know. But either way, it's a red card. But I honestly thought maybe it could be yellow if they go, he's passive. But I mean, I guess you could argue he was swinging into him. But certainly he wasn't fully driving into him because he was flat-footed. Like I say, he wasn't moving. But anyway, it's a red card. So yeah, London Irish have got it all to do. But they still score the next try, despite the red card. Loader with spots a couple of forwards and he runs at them, beats them, sure enough, and gets his pass back to Juan Martin Gonzalez, who goes over for his second try. So 24-6, despite having a man down, it looks like if London Irish can take this decent lead into the sheds at half-time and just kind of slow the game down a bit, you never know. But unfortunately for them, Montpellier are able to score a couple of minutes into the red of half-time, and it's an unfortunate one because it seems like London Irish thought it was half-time, so they kicked it out, but the stadium clock is obviously not the same as the one the officials are using. Like, none of us can see the officials' clock. The one you see on TV is not the official clock. That's just the TV studio's clock, so only the timekeeper's got the official clock. So it seems there was a couple of seconds to go, and Montpellier made the most of it. So that's certainly a potential turning point because Montpellier go down the field and eventually, when there's a kind of tackle stripping one of the Montpellier guys of the ball, Reinhardt kind of pinches it from the pincher and then goes over for a try. So it's an interesting situation, not one that you see very often. But I guess if you're in doubt, you can check with the ref as to how much time is left. But I don't know, man. Pretty brutal one. So it's 24-13 at halftime, so not as much of a road for the Montpellier guys to come back. Possession and territory has been kind of evenly split. But Montpellier's tackling at halftime is 83%, whereas London Irish is 90%. Now that will switch a bit in the second half. Montpellier's defence, I mean, with an extra man, goes fairly hard. I mean, second half, they don't bring on a hooker initially, so you got Juan Martin Gonzalez who's doing everything, doing a line-out throw to start things off. And they are still putting pressure on Montpellier, interestingly. Like Montpellier don't come out of the blocks firing. It's a yellow card warning for Montpellier. But then when London Irish have got a bad throw a bit later on, they've already brought on the replacement hooker. That seems to be another turning point because they released that pressure that Montpellier was under. And then Montpellier, from like this 52 to 65 minute period, just utterly dominate. They just go through so many phases, so much quick ball. Quick ball for the first one, Darmont gets it. They've just got space with the extra man, so it's 24-20. All the momentum, they go 9 phases for the second one, Mercer to Becogny. So it's 27-24, they're in the lead. And then London Irish just can't get out of their own half. Darmont does well to catch that ball above his own head, out wide, and 32-24. So, yeah, big flurry of tries from Montpellier. But that's it. In terms of Montpellier scoring, London Irish do get a bit of pressure back. Montpellier gets another yellow card warning. They win a scrum penalty on like 76 minutes where it's like, okay, that's going to be game over. But they still manage to get them yellow carded. Ollie Hazel-Collins looks to have potentially scored a try, but he's got a foot in touch. They at least get a last-minute kind of penalty to make it 32-27, which is losing bonus point range and a potential chance to chase the game for a win. But London Irish from the restart need to go length of the field, and they do reasonably well. They go through a bunch of phases, kick it, regather it in a bizarre way. Then another 11 phases, but eventually it's a knock on, and they can't even really get out of their own half. So, Montpellier's got the territory 57%. I think it's evident in the second half. Montpellier have less possession, though. That's London Irish at 56. Run meters 339 to 378, so pretty tight, but Montpellier edge it. Tackling percentage, man, 91 for Montpellier, so really great second half, 186 tackles to London Irish's 127. Mercer gets man of the match, 85 meters. He's the top guy for run meters in this game, 17 carries, 2 defenders beating a clean break. Very, very busy, good offloads as well. Ben Lamb wins a few turnovers and beats a few defenders. Rob Simmons makes a few tackles, including one real crunching one. Hazel-Collins beats 4 defenders, 52 meters from him. But, ultimately, the red card may be a bit costly. That try at the end of the first half costly from a London Irish point of view. But, we'll see how things go for the rest of the comp. London Irish have got the Stormers. So, it won't be cold down there in Cape Town. It's going to be nice summer weather for them, so they may enjoy that trip. And Montpellier are home to the Ospreys. So, there you go, folks. Champions Cup back underway. Had my breakfast, sit down to watch this one, so not a bad way to start the day. You guys let us know your thoughts. How do you reckon these two teams are going to go for the remaining stages? And, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.